Hi, my friends. This is Jay, and this is Jay's Summer School for Stitching 2026. I'm telling you, I'm just going to go, let's see, what have I missed? I've been gone so long, or at least I feel like it. Okay, I had to maybe Merry Christmas, let's see, Happy New Year. What else did I miss? Happy Valentine's Day, Happy Spring, Happy Mother's Day. Look, I just get them all in one because I've missed so much. Oh, but I am here. I have been working, as you know I always am, and I have something to share with you. Like I say, we are right in the middle of summer here in Metro Atlanta in the United States of America, and I guess some of you may be in a colder weather. But this, what I'm going to share, I think you could make it now and just put it up for later. So let me tell you what we're going to do tonight. Tonight, it's all about inspiration. Inspiration, you know why? Because it's my birthday. It's my birthday. It's my birthday month. The month of June is my birthday. And guess who else has a birthday in June? My friend Setta over at Setta's place. So the whole thing came about because I was watching some of her videos. You know, when I'm knitting, I just try to look in on other people's videos. And I'm just sitting on my couch and I'm knitting, and her video came up, and so I let it play, and then another one came up and let it play. But I noticed in a couple of them, she was wearing a little top. It's crochet, you know, she's a crocheter, and it has the V. It's I've seen it on the web quite a while ago, and everybody was doing it, but I've never seen like a knitted version. There may be one, but but I noticed on hers always, she always gets a good fit. It looked real cute, and I thought, what a great idea. You know, it has the V in the front and the V in the back, and you just slip it on. So I just felt inspired. Inspired. So I went over to my computer to send her a message, and I said, Setta, I saw this video of yours, and you're wearing this little top. Do you have a tutorial? She said, yes. I sent her the ones I was watching, and she messaged me back and said, yes, I have a tutorial. And I said, well, how about if I do a knitted, or at least try to come up with a knitted version of this cute little top. Like I said, it's everywhere, especially on Pinterest. They got a plethora of them, and they are absolutely gorgeous. Very simple. And I said, you know what, since we both have birthdays in June, maybe we could be twins. Well, she loved the idea. We laughed about it. And so as soon as I got through messaging her, I started looking through my stash to get busy to make this sweater. This little top that she was wearing, I just thought was just so, I don't know, it just looked real comfortable and cute. Like I said, her things fit really well on her. And but I'm older, and you know, she can wear her arms out and things. I needed a little sleeve, so I told her, I said, well, I'm going to have a little sleeve in mine. I'm going to have, it's made on the same idea of the two rectangles. I'm going to call mine two panels. Two panels, identical, one for the right and one for the left. And you just fold them, and you'll see over in the counter, and you may have a front, a sleeve on mine, and a back. So she's seeing it the same time you're seeing it. I bit my jaw, so I got a little canker sore. Stop talking funny. I tried to numb myself up with that, you know, that stuff you put on in your mouth. So I thought, you know what? Let's see if I can just really do it well. The first one I did, it was just awful. Well, I won't say awful. It just it wasn't right. But I'm going to hold on to it because I may be able to redo it in some kind of way to make it for the fall. I think the yarn was just a little too heavy. Well, I started it way back before May. So, see, it was still kind of cool. But, of course, now it's hot. Here in Metro Atlanta, North Georgia, it's hot. Hot, hot, hot. So I just wanted to come on and bring this sweater that she and I have been back and forth with. Like I said, she's seen it just like you're seeing it, and this is it. Now, I have a problem with my sweater. At least I think I do. When I made mine, I decided not to make the V in the front. I decided to leave mine open. You know, I'm older, like I said, and I don't like to be pushed together. I like to have freedom here. Whew, and cool. See, I can just open. All right, but it bunches up in the back. I don't know what I'm doing wrong in my formula. So when I go to the counter and I'll walk you through how I made my sweater, the knitted version. I don't even know. I don't even have an official name yet. I will. Maybe more eyes, you know, looking at it, might see something that I miss. I know I have a lot of seasoned knitters like me, and maybe even more experienced knitters than I am. And maybe you might see something like, well, you know what, Jay, maybe if you do this, maybe you do that. You can send me a message, or you can email me once I go through sharing with you how I designed this sweater. And I really like it. Has a nice little sleeve. See, I'm older, like I said, you don't raise your arms, you know. So it's not a full sweater, it's just a lace on top and then the side slit. You know, it's just a side opening. So it's not like a real sleeve. So it's not hard. And like I said, I'm doing mine in 2 panels. And I've got it all the working formula. I'm going to give all that to you. And so that you can give it a try if you want to, or just look at my design and see like, oh, Jay, maybe you need to change this or do that. I want to hear from any and everyone that has something to give an input. What do you think of that? So, happy birthday to us. I'm excited to be back. I love Summer School for Stitching. It's a place and time where we can just share, learn, and grow as we go. We can come up with ideas and banter back and forth. And like I said, just like that, I got inspired by watching what someone else had. And I hope this inspires you too. Whether you make this one or at the very end, I have a sneak preview. Because I like it so much. I'm ready. I went ahead and started another one, even before I maybe have solved the problem. If it is a problem, maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me and the fluff. Look, it might be just me and the fluff has grown. Hey, such is life. But I just want to say thank you to each and every one for all your encouraging words. I thank you for just being here. Every time I upload something, you always come over and give me some great ideas and leave good comments. Thank you so much. So many of you have been with me for years. And just now kind of, I don't know, looking, telling me things, giving me ideas. Well, it's never too late. It's my birthday. I'll be the big 79 years old. And if I can keep going, and I can, then I want you to come along with the journey with me. The more the merrier. The more we have, the merrier. And like I said, I feel now very comfortable on my YouTube channel, and I enjoy what I do, and I enjoy sharing with all of you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being part of my community, my fellowship, my fans, my supporters. Just thank you just for being here. So, with nothing else, let's go over to the counter so that I can get you started on this beautiful sweater that was inspired by one of Setta's sweaters and maybe you'll get inspired as well. This is Jay, and I'm glad we're back together. Let's get started. Alright, my friends, I have my sweater laid out on the counter just so that you can see it close up than just hanging up or having it on my body. And once we go through and I share my formulas, you'll see how each piece just stands out, but it's very simple to just navigate my system and the places that you need to measure and how to count stitches. And we're going to be doing some nice flat seams. Going to be sewing a little different than what I normally sew and we normally use on knitting. It's going to be sewed on the wrong side, and it's going to produce a nice flat seam on the inside, not a bulky seam, but a nice flat one. And then on the front, it's going to give you a textured seam so that it's a decorative seam. And the sleeve is not a real sleeve. It's just some lace at the top, so you don't have to worry about closing off like, okay, now there's a lace and there's a lace, so that's where I need to make my stitch. No, you're going to make your stitch about 1 inch or 2 inches from where that lace stops. There's my lace. Let's look on this one. There's the lace there, and then when I tried it on, and you have to try it on and keep sewing up once we start sewing, to see how it feels. But you're going to have about 1 inch or even 2 inches, depending on your fit, from where we stop the seam and then this lace starts. So it's not a real sleeve where you're going to be putting the lace together like that. Does that make sense? Okay, once we get to the sewing, which is at the end, but I just want you to see some little parts of this sweater. Now there's the inside, there is the V-neck in the back, and I notice, in case I don't get to it, that if I sew the V up too high, that was causing a problem. It kept hiking the back up like this. The back would be hiked up like this. So then I took the seam. Just make sure you don't tie anything off until you're ready. Oops, hit the camera, sorry. So I just took that seam loose again. Thank goodness I hadn't tied it. And then backed out a little bit, made the V just a little bit longer, and tried it on again, and it seemed like I had a better fit. But now when I have to pull this back down, let me just show you this that I couldn't show you while I was wearing it. When I have to pull this back down, in the back, once I have it on, then sometimes the front wanted to come up. It wanted to come up like this. And since Setta is not open in the front, I don't know if that's just because I, didn't make a V in the front. I just left it open like a sweater, like a regular sweater. But you see how it kind of comes up in the front. Let's see if my camera is on that. Yeah, it is. You can see that. You can see how it kind of hikes up in the front a little bit. But I didn't mind. It still looked good. I still was very pleased. And then I just go over, you just go over the shoulders with the beautiful little lace that we do on the chart. And I give you the chart. And I knit the whole chart with you in the first video. And for those that need a little help. And this is a new sweater from a swatch. We just started with a swatch, and now we have this beautiful sweater. Now, like I said, I just felt like maybe I couldn't get it to lay just right or fit my body just right. I don't know, I have, I got more fluff now, so that could be a reason. But the overall sweater is very pretty. I love the little seam idea. I had to think of that. I didn't want a big old thick seam on the inside. But yet, I was able to make a textured seam right up under the arm space. See? There's the lace stops, and then I didn't have to sew it up. I took about another inch or inch and a half, maybe even 2. Depending on how you want how it fits your body, the one you're going to make. All right, I just wanted to come on now. Let's get to all the parts, all the working parts, my working formula, first of all, how I count the stitches, how you get your measurements and count your stitches, then my working formula, and then we make our panels. 2 panels to make this pretty, pretty sweater. Let's get started. Back in just a minute. Well, my friends, I hope you are inspired from hearing how I was inspired to come up with this design and how much fun. And I thought, since it's our birthday month, I wanted something special. Now, we need to get into some numbers, and we need to get into the schematic and the construction of my new sweater. So the first thing we need to do, and the most important measurement, I'm going to take them one at a time instead of giving it to y'all at one time, so you'll understand, you'll see it better. The first measurement we want to take, and you may need a little help, is to measure from under your arm, your armpit. Just go to the very, up under your arm, measure all the way down to your waist. Don't go down to your hips or anything, just from the armpit down to your waist. And every time I measured, it came up, little this, little, a little over 11, a little under 11, right on 11. But just pick a number. Just round it to a number that you feel comfortable with, and make sure you write it down so you don't have to keep measuring. So I came up, after measuring 2 or 3 times, I came up with 11. Okay, I decided, it was a little bit over, a little bit, so 11, just round it off. Now the next thing we need to do is to see how many stitches does it take to fill up this 11 inches under my armpit to my waist. How many stitches will fit in that little area? Remember, that's how I started on YouTube, with this crazy tape that I know probably sophisticated knitters probably laughed. But I'm telling you, I have made so many things from making this little silly tape. Just sitting knitting, watching TV one night, I just knitted up a long, long tape, and from when I first came out. But just to save you time in counting stitches, instead of, you can do the swatch method, the little swatch, if you're comfortable with that. It just never worked for me. So I just decided I like to count. All right. I heard this years ago when I used to watch some of the OGs of knitting, like Arna and Carlos. It's Arna and Carlos. Okay, and they said one time in one of their videos that if you needed a nice swatch or something to count, instead of taking time to knit up something, just go find something you've already knitted in the yarn weight that you want to use, and hopefully in the needle size that you're going to use. It could be a sweater. It could be a long scarf. It could be a neck warmer. It could be a shawl that has a big section of stockinette stitching in the back or something. So that just saves time, and you can just go and use it. So what you want to do, I'm going to take my little tape, but you'll take whatever you're going to count your stitches from. Lay it out, smooth it out. You don't have to overstretch it or pull it. Just lay it out and just kind of like this. Move your hand over it. Mark a place to start, and then have another marker ready, and you're going to take your tape measure, and whatever the number was that you just put here, and you mark it down. I have 11 inches. Lay your measuring tape and mark 11 inches, and then put a mark to where it stops, the 11-inch mark right there. Okay? Get as close as you can, but we're going to sit and count. Once you have your 2 marks in, then you're going to sit down, and if you would take a double-pointed needle or something sharp, so that, because it's hard counting these stitches, but once you get the hang of it, you got it. You start here, and you just start counting, and you just stick your needle into the stitch you're starting with. So that's 1, then pull it open so you can see the next stitch, right? That's 2. Then you go over 3, over again, 4. I keep my thumb right there so I won't go too far. 5, 6, 7, and you keep counting and see how many stitches will it take to fill up your number of inches from your armpit to your waist. When I counted, I got close 39 and a little looked like a leg over, or one time I got 41. I rounded up to a nice number, 40. I decided on 40. That is good enough. You do not have to be, you don't worry about it. Just get as close as you can. Like say, oh my gosh, there goes an ambulance. That's not on my street, it's on the street over. Oh Lord, send angels to help whoever needs help. So you make sure you mark it down, and I marked it. Now let me share with you where these numbers will go and the schematic. Okay? Isn't that an easy way to count? And I always remember that. If I didn't have this tape, I could pull any of my sweaters and count. Use it. Just be sure to kind of spread it out nice and neat. All right, now let me show you. Let me move this and show you on my little schematic. And make sure I'm on camera. Hold on. Let me make sure that, because I'm going to pull it up. Nope. And enlarge it so we can just talk. Yep, you can see me. All right, so now, as you see on my little schematic drawing, okay, we've already got one measurement, and that's from the armpit to the waist. That's all we need right now. Don't want to get ahead. Now, we're going to work this sweater, this whole collection, with the same weight. I've already emphasized that, same weight, until we get to colder weather, and then we may go a little heavier. And the same number 8 or number 9. We're going to need, just like in Setta's tutorial, and all the people that do this, I don't know if they call it a rectangle, but rectangle type where they, I'm going to call mine panels. But they will have 2 rectangles. When the crocheters use 2 rectangles, I'm going to use 2 panels. So here's panel number 1. Here's panel number 2. Does that make sense? All right, now go ahead and break the panels into 3 separate sections. The 2 on the ends, about the same. They need to be the same or close to it. You know, we're just walking you through now. This panel in the center is going to be your sleeve. This is where we're going to put lace, the chart, lace, when it gets colder, cables. We're going to put our stitches here. So you have a front, we're going to call this a front, we're going to have a sleeve, and then a back. Then a second panel, a front, a sleeve, and a back. The back and the front needs to be the same. I just counted up for 11 inches. I got 40 stitches. I rounded mine to 40 stitches. For the back is the section, I just did a little dot, 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 dot. Back section, I'm going to put 40. For the front section, I'm going to put 40 on both panels. They are the same. The sleeve is where we're going to insert the lace and the chart. So we have each sleeve, each chart will be different in the stitch count. So we can only tell you that when we actually start knitting. We'll show you how to just put the sleeve number in, and we will knit a front, a sleeve, a back. A front, a sleeve, a back. Does that make sense? And as you see how easy it was when Setta did her, the crochet version, and then all you do is eventually you will connect the backs up, and now they connect the fronts. I don't wear connected fronts. I'm too hot-natured, and I don't want my bust smashed all in. I just rather have my front of the sweater open, just like you saw in the intro. But the sleeve is the eye catcher, because we're going to put all kind of pretty lace, and I'm already working on several. Let's put it that way. Now stop a minute and take a good screenshot of this. Jay's working formula for this new design sweater, and just kind of see if you can kind of see if this registers. And you will also notice that we will be knitting horizontal. Maybe you did notice, but we are knitting instead of vertical. You know, I got a thing about, I can't, if this was turned and it was a long way, we'd be knitting vertical like this. But we're going to knit this whole thing horizontal. So we start here. This is where we start on when we cast on, and we just knit across. Purl back or whatever it tells us to do. Knit again. Keep going and keep going. Okay. Now the next measurement, I'll go ahead and get this on this part of the video, is the waist measurement. You see the waist here on my little schematic. All right, from your side, from one side, doesn't matter which side, one side to your belly button, or one side to the belly button. I guess that's the belly button over there. From one side, you're going to measure to your belly button and stop. Pull the tape nice and, you know, tight so it fits across to your belly button. I get 14 inches. It might have been a little bit under, it might have been a little bit over, but you round it off. Just don't worry about it. Just round it to a good number. So I went ahead and picked 14. 14 inches. That simply tells us how the length of where we cast on at the bottom of this long panel and this one, we will knit up. But we're going to stop 2 inches short. And I'm going to put on there, I'm going to take my pen. Let's see, I'm going to put a -2. So, just take -2 off that. So that'll be 12, wouldn't it? So we're going to stop a -2 inches short of that number that we have for the waist. I have 14, and if I stop 2 inches short, it's going to give me 12, 13, 14, that's right, okay. Because we will pick up that extra 2 inches when we put a neckband. We need a neckband at the top. So we'll cast on, we're going to knit all the way across, back and forth. How far are we going to knit, Jay? What's the length? Whatever this number here on the waist. Going up, but I don't want to go all the way to 14. I'm going to stop 2 inches short of 14, or if you have 16, or if you're real tall, you have 18, whatever your number is, we'll stop 2 inches short so that we will be able to add a neckband at the very end when we're done knitting the whole panel. Does that make sense? Including the sleeve, the lace, charts, everything. We will do that for both panels. The numbers are the same. 2 identical panels. Well, that's a mouthful. Let me set something up and I'll come back and show you a little more. Okay, so as you can see, when we start to knit, we are knitting, like I said, the length, horizontal, this direction. So when I cast on and knit 2 rows, so now I'm on a right side row. And the first thing we will decide on is a little border on this edge, can you see it, and on the opposite edge. And on this we're just simply doing garter stitch. That means knit every row. Let me give you a suggestion of how many stitches to use on your border. You can use 5 stitches, a 5-stitch border, or 7-stitch border, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 9-stitch. It's just up to you on this set part. It comes out of this section automatic. You don't have to do anything but simply decide on if you want a 5-stitch border, a 7. I'm in the middle, so I kind of normally use 7. Some people who just are, short-waisted like me and maybe don't have a lot of room in your torso, 5 might be good to use. And then for taller people, they might like 9. Does that make sense? So here we go. So I have, for me, 7 stitches. I knit across after I knit the 2 rows, and I'm on the right side, after I knit my 2 rows, and I'm on the right side, so I'll knit 7 stitches. Knit on every row like we always do, put a marker. Now I start going into stockinette where I knit across all the stitches until I get to where I have my, I don't know which one of these do I, well, maybe you might like this one better. Let's see if Bert can hold up our sheet. Okay, so I'll just start knitting across until I come to the sleeve section and the chart. Okay, and then I start working row 1 of the chart. I work row 1 across, and I suggest that we work, you notice on there I said 5 times. So we have 5 repeats. If you are of a, this is going to fit most people, this the sleeve section. Okay, these 2 sections on each end, you have to find your own numbers, but this kind of will fit most people, except if you are really large in the arms, in your upper arm. If you're, if you're into the 3X, 4X, 5X, or you're large in the bust, then I will, at the time that, every time we do the sweater, I'll tell you, if or suggest that you add 1 extra repeat. So most people will just knit 5 repeats. If you're larger, I would add 1 extra repeat, so 8 times 6, and then add the +1. So you just go up 1 extra repeat, just to give you that extra room. And don't worry, knit stretches, so it will be just fine. Does that make sense? So if you're larger in the top, in your arms, or in your bust line, and you may be, so you'll have extra room. Only thing you have to change is simply add 1 more repeat. Whatever the repeat is, you'd add 1 more to your count just to get that extra room. All right, so once we do that, and I repeat it, and then I work this side and come back. And by the way, on this chart, if you've already worked it in practice, it's just, you just purl back. It's real simple. I wanted to start out something simple because this is a new construction and a new sweater, and I just wanted it to flow. So you keep going. Then you say, now Jay, I forgot again. Now how far am I to work up? Okay, glad you reminded me so I can tell you again. That was a measurement for your waist, from one side of your body to your belly button. That's all you need to go. You don't have to go all the way across, or you don't have to do both. Just give me one from the waist to your belly button. All right. I have 14 inches knitting straight up. Just keep knitting back and forth, following the chart, doing all this, and I'm closing in on 14 inches. But remember, the trick is to stop 2 inches before your number. So mine is 14, so I'd keep knitting. Can you see? I can't tell when I'm on and when I'm off. Okay, so right here, now I'm going to move this now. Right here, you can see we have I'm going to pull it down. You can see we have a border now. Well, I stopped before that border. That's the 2 inches that we're going to add. See? We're going to leave 2 inches. I knit up to 12 inches, but my whole length is 14. Once I finish my 12, I just stop the lace. And the way we'll do it, you just knit across, purl back, knit across again. You can purl back just to tie off the lace. Or you can just do it one time. As long as you knit across one, complete the row, and then purl back. And then then we'll go ahead and just start picking up or just knitting every row like we have done to do garter necklines. See, this is the front. This is the neckline going up the front. Does that make sense? And I did it. Let's see how many ridges. Remember, once I start garter stitching, it's about the ridges. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do at least maybe 6. Because like I said, we're only trying to fill in 2 inches. So I'd do at least 6. And then once I finish the last row, then of course on the wrong side, I'm going to bind off in the knit stitch. You're on the wrong side. Once you finish all your ridges, not rows but ridges, then you, just like we regularly bind off, knit 2 stitches, reach back and bind off, knit the next stitch, reach back and bind off, knit the next, so that you wind up with these pretty little purl bumps on the front edge of your neckline going down the front, since my sweater is open down the front. Now, a lot of the crocheters that I see everywhere on Pinterest and all of that. And Setta, hers is it's closed in the front. They sew theirs up, but we're gonna making ours open. That way, I don't know. It just for I just like the feel of it. I like the freedom of it, not being closed in. Okay, does that make sense? So this, I'm just gonna put it across. This is one panel. All right, so as you know, I normally take a separate little needle to do my bind off. It just keeps everything loose and I'm not tugging on the needle with all the stitches. So I've just about come across this whole piece on the wrong side. You can see I'm on the wrong side of the fabric, okay? But I'm binding off in the knit stitch because I'll show you when we get at the end. So I'm just doing knit a stitch, reach back and bind off, knit another stitch, reach back and pull that stitch over to bind off. Okay, knit a stitch, reach back and it's real smooth and you get a good rhythm and you're not tugging the fabric, trying to keep moving around the needle. If you have a separate, like I'm sharing it. Okay, let's pull it off. Okay, now I go ahead and knit another stitch, reach back and bind off. I knit another stitch. Just wanted this on camera for anyone who's new. So this whole summer school for stitching for this project is simply, we started with a swatch, with a very simple swatch. Sometimes you just don't need something really thick and heavy and a lot of work. Sometimes it's the simplest things that can just, I don't know, give you good ideas and you feel good about the results. So the chart was very easy, and I gave you the chart on the first video, episode number 1, just so that you could just practice it for those that are new to charts. Anyone else, you know, you're ready to go. All right, so now I'm up to the last. Now I can move this, my needle. I don't want to lose it, but I'll put it over there somewhere. And I have this one stitch left on my little needle here. So I'm just going to simply take it and go on and just cut my yarn so I don't have to deal with it. And then I bring it around to the front and slide it through the little hole, the last loop that I had on my needle. Then I slowly pull it to just tighten it up. Now I can put this needle aside, and when I turn, now I have a pretty neck edge. This is the neck edge. Like I said, for me it was about, I don't know if it was exactly 2, but I know I needed, close to about 2 inches. But I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ridges, and then the 7th ridge was the one I bound off on the wrong side. Does that make sense? So let's just pull it and see what we have. Here's panel number 1. We had to do 2 panels with the pretty lace that represents the sleeve area, and then you have a back section and a front section on this panel, on each panel. Okay, now let's get ready for some magic. So just like Setta did again, she just took the piece and she did a fold in half. I'm gonna move Bird over a little bit. See, she just folded the piece in half. Now we have half of a sweater. Now can you see it? That's like half of a sweater. Now let me reach over here and get the other half. And since we already know that this is the neck band, that means this is the side we're going to have to sew up. Now the crocheters mainly sew theirs front and back to make a V in the front and back, but I'm not going to do that. Like I said, I want mine open. Like, just an open sweater. Now let me pull this over a little bit. Don't have a lot of room on the counter, but I'm going to try to get it in so that you can actually not just have to visualize, but that you can see it. Now let me check and see how much I need to back out, if I can. Okay, sorry, wrong way. Okay. Now, can you see that? You see I have a sweater side here. Here's the front, here's the sleeve, and there's the back section. Here's the others. So one's a right front and one's a left front. But they're identical because we work the panels exactly the same. Does that make sense? Now we're going to get ready to sew the back seam. I'm going to go ahead and sew the back seam. So I'm going to take, if you have a place to lay yours out like I'm laying mine out, okay, then you're going to we'll just kind of fold the front of it up like this, and here's the back seam. Now I'm going to pull it up even more because we have to get this on camera. Let's see if I got it on camera. Yeah, the two. Okay, so this one needs to go up. Okay. That one needs to go up a little more so you can see I'll just roll them down like that. Roll it down. And let me check it again before I start, because I don't want to do this and then you can't even see it. Okay, now does that make sense? Here's the back seam. Normally on knitting we normally knit on sew on the right side of the fabric, but as you can see, this is the wrong side that is facing us. You see, this is the wrong side, but this is the back seam that we're going to close up just like this. And what happened on this one, reason I'm using the wrong side, because we have these pretty purl bumps on the front, and I just want them to kind of butt up. I don't want them to cross or go in like a regular seam. So now, watch. I'm going to take my yarn needle and the yarn, of course, and I'm going to start at the very bottom, and maybe I can bring it in just a little bit. I've got the camera up high so I can might be able to tilt it down just a little bit. Hold on. When you don't have much space, you just have to kind of jerry-rig things. Okay. All right. Here we go. I have my yarn needle, and I'm just going to do enough for you to see. I have the very bottom of the sweater. I am on the wrong side facing me as I'm making this back seam. I like to go ahead and pull it up so I can see these two front edges right here. And I want to go ahead and put my needle in and make these two front edges, leaving a tail, nice little tail right there. I want to bring them just as even as possible. Then I take another stitch to kind of knot it there. So now I have, can you see it? I have made this edge even with that, even though I'm on the wrong side. Now I'm going to work my my little whip stitch or my zigzag back and forth like I normally do. But I want you to see what I'm going to use. Do you know on this I hate to move so. Alright. I know I'll pull in real close just for a second and I'll back. Alright, I want you to see where I'm sticking my needle. On the back we have that crazy line. You see that crazy line is why I bind off on the wrong side a lot with the knit stitch. You'll see this line right here along the edge. It's like a long straight line. You'll see it on both pieces of fabric. Right here on the edge. Can you see it? Okay, I am going into, on this side, I am going to the outer stitch. The stitch on the outer edge, not the inner edge, and I'm going to go in just like this. Oops. Well, I have to put it back. I got my needle a little crossed there. And I don't want to have to start over. Okay, let's do it again. Let me find out where my yarn is first. Okay, remember I had worked on the bottom edge, so now I'm going to stick my needle up through to get it here. Now I'm going to go on the outside leg and then the outside leg on this side. And I'm going to just whip it real slow. Come to the next one or skip one. I think we can skip one. There's so many stitches. You can you may not be able to see it, but you can skip a stitch. Then go to the corresponding outer stitch on that edge, and all right, now on this side I can skip a stitch and maybe go to the next one, and then if I need to skip one to make it come out even, I want to kind of stay, yeah, I'm going to skip one, go into this one. You don't have to skip if you can see well, and go into every stitch, fine. All right, so now I'm up here again. I'm just coming across, and then I'm going to so on this particular sweater, you know how when we normally sew things together, the seam folds in like this. Well, I don't want that. I want these two little purl. See those two purl lines right there, rows? I want them to just butt up towards each other. Just butt right up. So you may have to kind of feel your way at first. And then just go to the next stitch on this side. Come across the aisle and go to the next. You can just do each one if you want to, if that's easier. Sometimes, like I said, I don't have my glasses on. But I go, not the stitch on the very edge. You'll see there's two legs to that little line of stitching. I want the outside. I'll show you again let me do a few more so you can see. I'm just doing a whip stitch. I'm not doing anything because this is on the inside. This will not be seen. This is the back seam. Let me do a few more. Oh, it's looking so pretty. Oh my gosh, I hope you got the gist of this. You just go, make sure you're on the outside edge and not on the inside. You're over here, and then you're on that side. Now I'm going to stop. Pull it up close. Okay. We're on the wrong side. Now let me flip it to the right side. Here's the right side. The first thing you're going to notice, those two edges I butt the two edges up so they'll be nice and straight, and I took two stitches to keep it straight and tight. Then I started working back and forth. Now you see the two rows right there. Those two rows right there, they just butt up to each other, which normally they fold in, but we want them just to butt up like that. And I'm going to keep going so that I have this pretty back seam to the length that I think will fit. You know, of course I'm going to try it on. Just make sure you're on the outside, not on this stitch on the inside, the leg that's on the outside, on this side, and on this side. You can tell right away if they're not buttoned up and want to fold in. You move out of, move it. You got the wrong stitch. Now we'll just stop. See, even the inside looks good. You can't hardly even see where I've been sewing, can you? Okay, let's see the right side, the public side. Look at that. It looks like one whole piece because I have these two rows right there just coming up like this, and instead of folding in. What do you think? All right, I'm going to let you work on that while I work on it. then I'll come back and show you how it looks, and when we get towards the top. And of course I got lots of ends. I've got other ends to sew into where I've connected yarn. But just remember, on this sweater, we are sewing the seam on the wrong side, with the wrong side of the fabric facing us. Normally we do it from the other side, the right side. All right, back in just a moment. All right, my friends, I'm back real quick before we end this beautiful tutorial, and I just wanted to let you know I'm not giving up. I'm not going to just like, okay, just let it go or frog it. If you have, like I said, if I am open to any suggestions you have. A lot of you are more seasoned knitters than me and more adventurous, and you know, you just might know a lot more than I know. So if you have something, or you know, on what's wrong with the back of that sweater, but I still love it so much. Look, I have already started another sweater. I have this panel done. Look at this beautiful peach color. Bird, isn't it pretty? I saw it. It's so pretty. You know, I use a lot of Care and Simply Soft when I'm practicing, when I'm doing it, because it's just a yarn that I know what it's going to do, and it has a great feel, and it's just beautiful, and has that little sheen. So I went ahead and started making another panel before I had finished the first one. Otherwise, I may not have done it when I seen the problem with the back, or the problem I think I had with the back. But anyhow, I just wanted to show you this so you can see. Oh my gosh, I'm just going to have to figure out how to make this work. If not, then I may do some kind of top-down version where I can put this pretty lace in the sleeve. Or I can just have some pretty lace in the sleeve of our easy little charts. So I just wanted to give you a sneak preview and let you know all is well. And we will keep calm and knit on. Right, Bird? Right. So I just wanted to come back and end it on a high note. This is Bird, and I'm Jay. Thank you so much for joining us for Summer School for Stitching 2026. Now, this is not the end. We have other projects coming. We're still doing it for another month or so. And but to give you a break, I may throw in another ASMR. You know, I still have my Ravelry white binders, and I got one coming up, and I think I can find some of the projects I may have worked out of the binder, some of the patterns in the binder. If I do, I'll bring them and share with you. But thank you so much. It means so much to us, and I'm telling you, I hope we mean something to you. All right, until the next project, or my ASMR, this is Jay and Bird again saying thank you again, and we'll see you soon. Enjoy the knit. Bye-bye.